Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Until midnight tonight, coming to you from New York City. Over there, there we go. That's Stephen Kravitz. We like talking to Steve once a week and finding out what's happening. How you doing out there in up there, or over to the side, or somewhere, Massachusetts?
I'm doing okay. Just trying to stay warm. Also, I turned 65, so now I'm trying to get my COVID test.
Oh.
My COVID vaccine.
Here in New York, they lowered the age to 60.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you just sign up for it. You're 65. Go get it.
That's what I plan to do.
And by the way, happy birthday. When was the birthday?
It was Saturday, March 6th.
And what did you do for your birthday?
I went out to eat with some friends.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you all wear masks and stuff, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Good. Happy birthday to you. Happy joining. You're a senior now, I guess, huh?
I am an elder caca.
Elder caca. Yeah. How is it up there? Is it getting any better with the whole?
It's warm. What you mean with the COVID?
With the COVID and everything else.
Well, the weather's warm this week. Next week's supposed to be cold again.
Mm-hmm.
So this week is okay, and the COVID numbers are dropping here.
Okay, that's good.
Coming down. They're opening up more and more stuff.
They're not dropping here particularly. We still have a high level of deaths, up around, I don't know, in the 60s or something like that, maybe higher.
Right.
It did go down. Now it's going back up again. I don't know. But
Is that just in New York City, or is that New York State?
New York State. New
Okay.
York State. Our governor's had some problems lately.
Really?
Yeah. And so he hasn't been able to do what he's, I think, got to do. They took away a lot of his powers during this thing.
Yeah, now they want to take away his office.
Yeah, but I mean, taking away the power inhibits trying to solve the problem,
Right.
And I think, overall, I mean, yes, the nursing home thing was a big gaffe, but it happened at a time when, there's we didn't know what we were doing back then, okay?
No.
I think anybody would have made mistakes, and
Yes.
especially because you were relying on what the government was telling you was accepted behavior. And,
Right.
And so, I don't hold that much against him on that. I think that later on he corrected everything, and he saved my life. I'm alive today because of measures he took back then.
Right. Same thing here. Alex, that they took some really stringent, hardcore lines in the beginning.
Yeah.
There was no playing around.
And they saved your lives as a result
Yes.
of it, And I mean, I don't care if you just turned 65. If you're 63, you're maybe in the danger zone.
Sure.
And
so like you said, now it's anything over 60.
Yeah. Well, here in New York, I don't know about up there.
No, it is. It is here too.
Oh, 60?
Yep.
So just as you turned 65, they said, you can be over 60.
That's right.
Does that piss you off?
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
So now I gotta go fight with the website to try and get an appointment.
I guess you can just type in vaccinations Massachusetts, and it'll give you a lot of places you can go and sign up.
Right. And they say Thursdays when they open up the most spots.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why is it Thursday?
I don't know.
Oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
None of this makes a lot of sense.
I think that you probably. How long do they say it'll be before you can get a shot if you can find one? I mean, is
Oh,
it?
they don't say.
I mean, do they suddenly say, "Well, yeah, next July, you're scheduled
No,
for next"?
they say actually next month, April.
Yeah.
They're gonna get like 500 million new shots.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you can get one before then. You know.
Yeah, if I can, I can. If not, then I'll wait till April.
But once you get them, see, the good thing is that once you get them now, the CDC is saying, and once you have both shots, or in the case of Johnson and Johnson, the one shot,
Right.
you can start hanging out with other people who've also been vaccinated.
That's right.
You know, which is good. You know,
Which is
it's
great.
it's funny. I wish that I had something else to talk about in a lot of cases than this particular subject, because I talk continually about this subject, but this is, I think, the biggest subject of our time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I can't think of anything else that has impacted us as much as this has impacted us, and will establish our behavior in the future.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You know, there
You
are.
know, no matter what, even with the vaccine or not, you're still going to have to wear a mask.
Do you remember anything in your lifetime that even approaches this? I mean, I can think of something that kind of did approach it, and that was polio when I was a kid.
Right. Like we've talked about, I had a friend that had polio.
Yeah. You know, and I remember as a kid worrying about getting polio. My parents actually worried about it more than I did. You know,
Sure.
don't go in that pool. Don't do this. Don't do that.
Right.
And they didn't know what caused it. You know,
Right. Right.
and I remember living during that, but that wasn't as scary as this.
No.
You know.
Because this is mutating. This is beyond our comprehension.
Well, also, I think it's because when I was a kid, my concept of the danger of polio, while I knew it was out there and I knew kids who had it, it just didn't strike me in the same way as something where I'm an old adult
Right.
who can get COVID and die from it. Okay.
Right.
And I'm more subject to it than, say, somebody who's younger. All right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Again, the same fear that I had with polio, I'm now having on this end of my life with COVID, only this is much more deadly.
Yes. But you've had your 2 vaccinations.
Yeah. Polio is crippling. This is deadly. You know.
This is deadly.
Yeah.
You've had your 2 vaccinations, right?
Yeah. I feel tonight we're going out to dinner. We're going to go to a restaurant for the first time, indoor dining.
There you go.
We're going to do it for the first time in
A year.
at least a year. Yeah. And Marjorie wanted to. She said, "I'm taking you out to dinner tonight. We can do it." You know. And
That is so cool.
I feel safe. You know, I feel that if I get it, if I were to get COVID, it would be a mild case. All right. And nobody who's gotten the vaccination has died.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the good news. They say, well, there's a more virulent strain out there. Yes, but it's still, I'm protected against that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
You're good.
oh
You're
yeah.
all good.
Yeah, I was thinking of holding a party here for just all the people we know who have had 2 shots. And we can just all hang out and just be ourselves, you know?
Yes. Why not do that?
Yeah. Do you know anybody that's had COVID? I guess you do.
No, I don't.
By the way, those things that are constantly coming up in the top of my screen are, let me lower something here, then it won't happen. Okay. Those are just notifications that I get, and it just somehow comes into the picture, and I don't want it to come into the picture. So
Is that the guy that calls every time you're on the air?
No. But these are notifications like, you know, you just got mail, you just did this, and it was coming in.
Right.
It was coming into the picture because I put it up towards that part. I've fixed it. So
So, Alex, just check this out. I have a gig.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Everybody, listen to this. Yeah,
I have a gig.
a gig. Now, for a comedian, a gig means
Is a
you're working.
joke.
You're working.
I'm doing 10 minutes on some sort of Zoom,
Oh,
some or other.
one of those things.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah. Yeah.
April 15th.
What was it? Did Bub say that he was offered to do some Zoom things, and he did one, and it was so terrible that he just doesn't want to do another one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this will be my first, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, why don't you try a little bit of your material right here?
Well, I
I mean-
haven't written it yet.
Oh, well, this is a Zoom call.
I understand that, Alex.
You
But
haven't.
I haven't written the material yet.
Wait a minute.
It's
You've been
all-
writing the material for the last 50 years.
Yeah, that's right. But I want to do some new stuff. I want to do some because it's April 15th, so I want to do some stuff on taxes.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Oh, okay.
one of the ideas I have is using the stimulus check to pay my taxes, so it just goes round in circle. You know, I don't see any of it, right?
Yeah, right, right. That are you? Well, so they Zoom you, right?
Right.
And then what do? You do your act.
I do 10 minutes.
You do 10 minutes. Now, are you going to stand up when you do it?
No.
Okay. So it's not like exactly
A gig.
a gig.
Except I am getting paid.
You are getting paid.
Yes.
I'm scared to ask how much.
You don't want to know.
Come on, tell me.
$100.
That's not bad. It's something.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
At this point, last time I worked was February 2020.
Really?
Yeah. That was the last time I
Okay.
worked.
So wait a minute. So you're going to get $100 for doing 10 minutes. That's not bad. That's 10 bucks a minute,
Right.
right? If my math is correct. So that's not bad.
No, I'll take it.
Yeah. Why not?
I got nothing else. I got nothing else to compare it to.
Right. Right. Oh no, that's fine. I think that's terrific.
And if it goes well, maybe I'll do more.
Now, what happens? You do 10 minutes, and then somebody else does 10 minutes, and then somebody
Yeah.
else does 10 minutes, and so then
No. There's only 2 comics, and then there's some sort of variety stuff.
Oh, okay. Who's the other comic? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's it's something.
It's a gig.
Kind of. I mean, I don't want.
It's a semi gig,
I don't want to diminish it. Okay.
and I won't let you.
But it is a gig. It is. You are getting paid for it, so I guess it does meet the
I had
criteria.
to send in an 8x10. I have to write up a little, blurb on me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a regular gig, except I'm all alone in my office.
Where can we see this?
Well, I'll have to let you know of that next week.
And I guess I would have to pay for it, right? I mean, after all, they're paying you $100, so they're planning on making money off of this.
Somehow, I'll have more details next week. When we talk on Wednesday, I will have more details. I will have where it's going to be airing, how it's going to be airing, and whether you can watch it or not.
Because if it only costs like $5, like something like that, for me to do it, then I would just suggest that all the people watching do it, and then say I did it because of Kravitz. I want to see Kravitz. Oh, more Kravitz. Maybe the next time you get $110.
With luck, knock on wood,
You can hold their feet to the flame
for that extra $10.
for that extra. Just squeeze that extra $10 out of them.
And God knows I need it.
Yeah. So what do you miss most right now? I guess going out and gigging, right?
Yes.
That would be the biggest thing you miss.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And just going out. I mean, just going out to the clubs, just, hanging out with other comics, hanging out with people. That's what I miss the most.
Socialization.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, me being very antisocial, I don't miss people at all. So, that's
Well, I don't want to be in the crowd. I want to be on the stage. I don't want to be, in the masses.
Yeah. I think what I miss most of all is just that ability to go around, go downtown, go see,
Right.
go to Times Square,
Go to a movie.
something, I don't miss that as much.
Really?
I think movies are going to have a hard time making a comeback, theaters, because people are used to now watching these films at home.
Right.
Okay, and they all got a big screen, and they all got the stereo sound.
Right.
You're getting the complete theater experience at home, except you're missing a few things, like some guy kicking the back of your seat.
Right. Or
Yeah.
somebody talking.
Is somebody talking, or a crying baby?
Oh,
And we could arrange for that if you really miss that part of the experience. I'm sure we can put some sound effects in there to.
just piss you off during the movie.
But I don't know if movie theaters are going to come back. I don't know if I want to go sit in a movie theater. I don't know that I want to pay. You ready for this? Okay, I sit at home, and even if let's say I did the most expensive thing I could do, and that's buy a Disney film on the Disney Channel when it first comes out, and they charge $30 for it. Okay?
Really?
Okay, but let's just say that's what I do. I'm still getting off cheaper than going to the theater for my wife and I to
Right.
pay a total of, if it's a 3D film, okay, which in most cases it is. That's the main reason I go to a theater, is for a theatrical experience.
Right.
Having to pay $42 for the tickets alone. Then to take the car down there and back will cost me another $25. And then the popcorn and sodas are going to run me another $15. I'm already up to like $85.
You're closer to 100.
Yeah. So, and then the movie sucks.
Yeah, but if you buy the movie for $30 and it sucks, now what are you gonna do?
Well, it's no different than if I paid $85 and it sucks.
Yeah, but like you said, you like to go to the movie for the big screen, like the big action films in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I like to go to the Marvel films.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bad.
But I can show you a Marvel film here at my place on a 65-inch screen with the stereo sound that I've got set up and everything, and you'll feel like you're in a movie theater. And by the way,
Really?
the quality of the picture on a 4K television set is as good as it is in a movie theater, because you know what they're doing there? They're projecting a video image that's in 4K.
Is that right?
Yes. So you're not really getting any bigger experience in the theater than you are at home. You just
Now, what about live theater?
live theater is a different thing altogether.
You think that'll make a comeback?
I hope so, because I think it's a wonderful thing.
Right.
I think it's wonderful that you sit in this theater and these people come out and do a live performance, and that the performance you're watching is original.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's original every time it's done.
That's right.
Okay, it's never
Right.
going to be exactly the same way as it was when you watched it.
Right. Right.
And
right. Right.
in the case of a musical, you got an orchestra, you got the sets, you know,
Right.
and you're paying a large price. My average ticket's like $150 or something. But
Yeah.
it's this thing that is original and particular to that moment.
Right.
So
right.
yes, I don't want to see theater go away at all.
No.
And
Is Broadway opening up at all yet?
not yet. No.
Not at all.
No, I don't think so. And if they did, what they would do is they would say, but you can only be 35% capacity. All right.
Right.
And then what are they going to have to do to accommodate that? They're going to have to charge more than they've ever charged for a ticket in order to just break even. Because with a movie, you're just showing literally a hard drive. That's what you're showing. Okay, what's the expense in that? There was the expense of making the movie, but there's not an expense in actually showing it.
That's right.
With a theater, there's a huge expense in doing a live performance. And so in order to break even, at least on that, they're going to have to raise the prices over and above what they are now. And I don't know if the public will put up with that. So, I mean, it's a big question. Big question. Who knows?
Well, I think tourists will still go. I mean, maybe locals won't go as much, but tourists will still go to Broadway.
Well, it's what we call the bridge and tunnel crowd. But then again, there were always those shows that were done for the bridge and tunnel crowd that the theater-going audiences in New York didn't even go near.
Like, give me an example.
Oh, Beautiful, the Carole King musical, is a bridge and tunnel show. The thing about the Four Seasons, whatever that was called, Jersey Boys, bridge and tunnel.
Jersey Boys.
Bridge and tunnel show, But then again, you had something like Book of Mormon. That wasn't a bridge and tunnel show, That wasn't something that necessarily made the out-of-towners want to go see it. But everybody here in New York wanted to see it because it was, But so all I'm saying is that the bridge and tunnel crowd will always be there, and shows will always be done for that bridge and tunnel crowd.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they deserve to be entertained.
But I'm just hoping theater comes back. I think the theaters will come back because they're original. Movie theaters, not so much. I think people have gotten used to not going to the movies.
I think you're right.
When they can sit at home and watch all the movies that are nominated this year for like the awards have been like on apps, like on Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon or whatever. Very few of them are things that just went directly into the theaters and haven't been seen anywhere else.
Although I get DVDs from the Screen Actors Guild because I vote on the I'm a voting member.
Yeah. Well, I get the SAG discs too, but all the discs except for 2 discs that have come in, all of them I've already seen because they were on Netflix or something like that, or Amazon.
Right.
So, they're sending me discs that, I need that. I have this, I can watch it right now.
Right.
So
I just watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
It was a good picture.
Very good picture.
Yeah, really good picture. I enjoyed it. I thought it was terrific. I mean, enjoyed it. It's a very serious picture, but.
And then I watched, what was it? The Chicago 7.
Yeah.
And that was a Netflix production.
Mm-hmm. Again, something I saw when it first came out because I have Netflix.
Right.
So, I mean, but all these films are good films, and they probably would have been released in theaters if it weren't for COVID. So they sold them to Netflix.
Right.
Right. And I think they happen to be some pretty good films. The film One Night Night in Miami, that one.
I don't know that one.
It's about the night that actually happened in which Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, who's the other person?
Bill Russell.
Yeah, and there's one other person that was involved in that. But anyway, they all met in a hotel room in Miami. And no one knows what went on in that hotel room, but this was a play that somebody wrote and has now been made into a movie about imagining what might have gone on in that room.
Right.
And it's really a very good film. It's a very good film.
I bet it's fascinating.
I really enjoyed it. But anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time again. Time flies when I talk with you. It's just,
Yeah, it does seem to go pretty fast, doesn't it?
it's a nice conversation. Well, normally I do 15 minutes with people, and in your case, I do 25. Just
Right.
simply because it goes by so easily and breezily. And I hope I will see you again next week.
I will see you on the 17th.
Yeah, but in the meantime, stay where you are so when we're through here, I can talk to you for a couple of minutes. Ladies and
Right.
gentlemen, the person that is Steve Kravitz. See his name there? Bye, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
The wonderful, the terrific Steve Kravitz. I really enjoy Steve. I like Steve. Steve's a great guy. He's just a great guy. Anyway, I'll tell you what happened when I did an interview, which you'll see tomorrow with my old producer, Albert Reynoso. He'll be on tomorrow night. And I did it earlier today, and the first thing I had up, down, on the bottom was Albert Reynoso. And then when I did the interview with Kravitz about an hour and a half later, I did the whole thing with Albert's name under his picture. So I had to go in later on and block out Albert Reynoso and put Stephen Kravitz in there. And I think it actually looked pretty good. I think if you were watching online, you probably could see the blackness of the masking. But, outside of that, I thought I did a very good job. But I fucked up. And that bothers me because I didn't used to fuck up like that. It's just happening way too much. And I'm gonna defer to the audience here. I'm really beginning to think maybe I should maybe stop this or back off on it or whatever. Cut down to 1 day a week, something like that. That I'm just losing it, okay, and that I shouldn't really be doing this any longer. But we'll see. Anyway, man, I'd like to get your opinion on it if you have the ability. But why don't we start admitting these people are all waiting to talk to us, who've been waiting for quite a while, and here they come. I've got to put this in a gallery mode. There we go. And hello to everybody. How are you guys? There's Trucker Steve. There's Alan. There's Brian Neary. There's Charlie Wallace. And, of course, the ever-popular Jeff Stein, who's up there in Connecticut.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. How are you all doing this evening?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, you all doing all right? Okay, good, terrific. So what's new? Is there anything new? Is there anything in the news? Yeah, Jeff.
I rode on my
$1,400.
bicycle.
Wait a minute.
I went on my bicycle today.
You went on your bicycle today?
Outside.
Outside. You took a bike ride.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
I
fine.
haven't done that in months.
I
What's
walked.
the temperature?
I walked a total of 4 blocks today.
There you go. So,
You see, I'm starting.
What's the temperature over there?
Temperature is like, I think it was in about 52 or something today. It was better yesterday. It was like up into the 60s. It was getting really nice,
82 in Austin.
82 in Austin. Oh, well, that should kill the coronavirus. Boy.
And humid?
Huh?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, in
That
Houston,
wasn't that humid.
it isn't. It gets. You know where it gets humid? Houston gets humid. God, I never could. In the whole time I lived in Houston, Texas, I couldn't keep a crease in my pants.
Wonder why? Maybe because it's right next to the ocean.
Is it next to the ocean? Is Houston in?
not an ocean.
No,
Pretty close.
there's the bay there.
The Gulf.
There's the
Yeah.
Gulf. Yeah.
Gulf of
Gulf.
Mexico.
In the Gulf of Mexico. So, it gets very humid there. And, in fact, in Houston, you didn't really go out for a walk. You get in your car, but you You would never go out for a walk, at least during the summertime.
Wow.
But,
I don't know how people lived there before air conditioning.
I don't know either. When I first got there, they first started putting air conditioning in cars. And so when I bought a car there, I got it with air conditioning built in. Well, they didn't build it in. In those days, now you have air conditioning. It's just part of the car. In those days, it was like a thing that hung under your dashboard.
Yeah.
And was an air conditioning unit. That kept you pretty cool. But
Before that, they had the swamp cooler. Before that, they had the swamp cooler on the side of the window.
Well, those were like what do they call them? They were
swamp cooler.
They called them
swamp cooler.
Swamp coolers. But what they did is they had water in them, didn't they?
Ice.
Ice.
They put ice in there, and then it cooled through, and it pushed into the car.
Right. But
it didn't cut the humidity. Air conditioning takes humidity out of the air. A swamp cooler puts it in.
Well, it's meant to keep you cool. What I had when I was living in San Francisco, I had a studio, and the studio would kind of get hot from the lights. Okay, 'cause we didn't have lights like we have here now. These are LEDs; they don't get hot. Okay, so I can get them as bright as I want, and it's not gonna, it's not gonna affect me. But it was very hot in the studio, and because it was hot in the studio, I had to have some kind of air conditioning, but I couldn't put air conditioners in the windows because my windows were not the windows that go up and down; they were the windows that go out, and it's impossible to put air conditioning in that kind of window. So I went out and I got what is it? You filled it with water. And then it kind of cooled the air in the room. It didn't get really icy cold, but it got cool. But then you have to constantly fill the tank up, so that you could keep being cool. It was a mess. There was no way I could keep really cool. On a really hot day, I was literally sweating on the air. So it was not easy. But San Francisco doesn't usually get that hot. It was just the studio had a tendency to get hot. So anyway.
Yeah, crazy weather here. Today in Santa Clara, it snowed. Well, it wasn't snow. I think it was more hail, but it was all over the streets.
Really?
Yep. It looked like snow.
Yeah, cold weather, and the rain was just, we came back on the freeway. You couldn't see the East Hills. You just see this wall of water coming down. It's crazy.
Wow.
Probably seen everywhere else, but California, we don't see that.
We need it.
Where are you right now, Trucker Steve? Where are you?
In his truck.
Yeah, I guess.
Part of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. How's the weather there?
Indiana.
65 degrees Fahrenheit.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Still here on my watch, it's 48 degrees in New York City right now. And this has been
my load. I'm originally going to go to Sparks, Nevada, but now I'm going to Tempe, Arizona.
Tempe, Arizona. Sparks,
Which
Nevada.
is good because there's supposed to be a snowstorm this weekend going through Nebraska and Wyoming. So now I avoid that.
Now, what is in Sparks, Nevada, outside of the fact that it's the gateway to Reno?
We have a few customers there.
Yeah.
Sherwin Williams Paints.
Do you know who works for Sherwin Williams Paints?
Yep.
You ever see Josh, who calls this show?
Yeah.
He works for Sherwin Williams Paints, but not in Sparks. You know, Sparks.
He's in Ohio.
Sparks was always the little Reno, is what it was. It's about 25 miles outside of Reno, I think, something like that. Not far.
Right? I think it's closer. I think it's the next city over.
It is the next city over. That I know.
Yeah, and what I always remember as a kid was Sparks is where the Harrah's Automobile Museum was.
Oh, really?
Sparks, yeah.
Okay.
Bill Harrah, the guy that started Harrah's Casino in Reno. had an automobile collection.
Right. Big automobile collection.
Nice old, yeah.
Yeah. And there's one other thing that's out near Sparks. The Mustang Ranch.
Not the Bunny Ranch, yeah.
The Mustang Ranch. Bunny
Ranch.
I
think the Mustang Ranch is. I think Sparks is to the north or east of Reno, and I think Mustang Ranch is to the east of Reno, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
They're all in the same area.
Okay.
Let me put it this way: Sparks is close enough to the Mustang Ranch that you can smell it from there. Yeah.
Did you ever go, Alex?
To the Mustang Ranch? Once.
Yes.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I go by myself or did I go with somebody else? I think I went with somebody else. And he went in there and was going to go sow his wild oats, and I'm sitting out there, and the women are hanging out and they're chatting you up, trying to get you to go off with them. So I decided I had never done that, had that experience before. It never appealed to me. I always liked, when it came to sex, I always liked the pursuit, as it were. Which today I'd probably pick the hooker over pursuit because it's less trouble.
Yep.
But but I figured I've never experienced this before, so maybe I should experience it. Okay. So I went and I did it, and it was the most unsexual thing I've ever done in my life that was passed off as sex. It just didn't appeal to me particularly. And then I had my friend who owned the Mustang, the Bunny Ranch.
Dennis Hoff.
Yeah, Dennis Hoff. He owned the Bunny Ranch, and I would go see him all the time, and I would hang out there, and he'd say, "Look, any woman you want here, half price, because I have to pay them something, so you just pay half of whatever, and I won't take my cut at all. Anything you want." And even with that offer, I never took him up on it. Never did. He always used to like to say, "Alex has never taken me up on my offer."
Oh man, that's cold.
What do you mean it's cold?
It's cold. It's kind of like saying, Alex couldn't get an erection with the most beautiful.
No, that
girl
wasn't
that
what. No, that wasn't what he was saying. That wasn't what he was saying. What he was saying is he was amazed that I could be at the Mustang Ranch. Not the Mustang Ranch, but the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, and that I could just not do anything there, even when offered it. Okay, which was it was a nice offer. I thanked him for it. Was always appreciative of it, but it just never appealed to me. And I had a friend, my friend Paul Montgomery, who was one of the people that ran Play TV, Play Incorporated. Play TV was part of it, and I used to go over there with him because he liked to go there. So I would take him over, and then I would hang out with Dennis, and he would go in and do whatever he was going to do, which never was anything. I always asked him, I said, "What did you do once you got in there?" And he said, "Talk to her." I said, "What?" I said, "And then did you pay her afterwards?" "Yeah, I paid her $400-500 for talking with her." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I just wanted to talk. She was naked. Just wanted to talk with her. And I said, "Well, what's that all about?" And he said, "Just the power.
I like talking to him too, like get your teeth off of it, that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you. Have you ever been to one of those places?
Yes.
Yes.
Mustang Ranch.
Mustang
Twice.
Ranch. And did you find that particularly a sexual experience?
Oh, absolutely. It was great.
Really?
Some of the most beautiful women I ever saw that week.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the one I had that I remember, I think was kind of okay. She wasn't unattractive or anything like that. But
when you're in town there, you want to see beautiful women, go into the casinos. There's some theory that if there's beautiful women dealing cards, men tend to congregate and spend more money.
Yeah, but also if you go into the casinos, you can probably be chatted up by a hooker too there, rather than
Sure,
have
I
to go
would
all
guess
the
so.
way over to the Mustang Ranch.
Yeah,
Hooker
sure.
bars. The hooker bars.
Well,
Might be cheaper to go to the Mustang Ranch than sit in a casino and get chatted
I
up.
can't remember how much the Mustang Ranch cost, but it was something like $100 or something. It wasn't a lot of money, you know. But I found it just a non-experience. You know, I couldn't be honest with you. That I'm not trying to insult you, but I couldn't see what anybody saw in it. You know, there was no pursual. You know, I want to know that when somebody has sex with me, it's because I chatted them up and they were interested. But as I say, in this day and age, you maybe don't want to do that because look what's happening to Cuomo, and he was chatting up women. You know, so
Yeah.
And then some.
yeah, and then some. So is anybody else going to call tonight here? Let's get a little mix up here. How about people who have never called this program before?
Or never listen to it.
Or never listened to it and listening to it for the first time.
about it.
Yeah,
How they know.
you know.
Your friend tells you. That's how I found out
But
about
I
this.
just find that we haven't been getting a lot of people lately listening, either before the show or after the
There's a lot
show.
of people that listen.
Huh? What'd you say, Charlie? I think we just lost Charlie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like in the chat room and stuff that are there every day, but they don't call.
Yeah, they don't, do they? Like Mike Redshaw. I never ever heard him call the program. Let me see here. Well, Charlie Wallace is there. Brian Neary. Well, how about Scorpio Plus?
Yeah.
10. You know, these people just sit there lurking. But, you know, if you're watching us right now and you don't know how to get on here, just go over to gabnet.net. And over on the right-hand side, in the middle of that page, is the thing that says, click here to Zoom us. And all you have to do is click that, and you will immediately ring over here, and we can put you on, and you can join us and be part of the fun. Boy, yeah, is this fun. Anyway.
Where's Smart Ryan when we need him?
Smart who?
I don't know. Wasn't that the kid's name, Smart Ryan?
I don't know. I don't think that
Oh,
was a
the
kid.
kid?
I don't think that was a kid.
Yes, it
Do
was.
you?
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you think it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then how come he didn't call more? You would think.
That time.
Probably made him go to bed.
At that time.
You would think if he was a kid, he'd be interested.
He was hung up on manners. Brian kept licking the spoon. That was funny when he brought that up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, it's like there's almost nothing to talk about these days. You know, the only thing that happened today is that we have a new attorney general.
And the new
Yes.
person for EPA.
Oh, really? Okay.
EPA, the person with the Biden's cabinet member got approved by the Senate too, both of them.
And the new attorney general is a guy that the Republicans didn't even want to hear from when it came to Supreme Court justice.
Yep.
What's his name? Oh God, my mind's a blank.
I
Huh?
don't know.
Marlon.
Huh?
John?
Starts with a G.
Garrett.
Garrett.
Garfield.
Greg?
Garland.
Garland.
Eric Gar-
No, Merrick.
Merrick Garland.
Yeah, Merrick.
Yeah.
Merrick Garland.
Garlic.
I mean, they didn't want him. They wouldn't even listen to him for the
Nope.
Supreme Court, right? They wouldn't give him the
That's
decency.
why I don't want to hear this bipartisan bullshit.
Well, wait a minute. What happened today was bipartisan. 30 members on the Republican side voted for him.
I know, but 5 years ago they wouldn't give him the time of day.
Oh, I think this was their guilt complex catching up with them.
Different job too.
Yeah, a different job, but you know,
Big difference. Big difference.
this job, believe it or not, is a job I believe for 10 years.
Yeah, the last attorney general left.
Well, he left.
But it depends on how long he wants to stay.
Is
No,
it-
that's the FBI. That's 10 years.
Oh, is it 10 years
FBI
as the FBI? Okay.
Yeah, that's the director
Not
of the
necessarily.
FBI.
Also, the post office is 10 years.
Really?
But we can fire him. They can get
You can
the
fire him,
president
yeah.
can get rid of him. You know, you're serving at the.
Especially for doing the crap he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear about the senator in Mississippi who was bragging about passing the stimulus bill, and he was bragging about how good it's going to be for restaurants in his district, but he voted against it. He didn't vote for it, but he's bragging about how good it's going to be for the restaurants in his district. I mean, in his state. What a fucking idiot.
Yep.
I mean, he thinks his constituents are so stupid that they're not going to know that he voted against it.
Well, that's a good point. They probably are.
That's true. Yeah.
Wow.
Mississippi.
Yeah. No, it's amazing to me that those guys just don't know what's happening. You know, I mean, how can they not vote for the stimulus package? It's not only going to help Democrats, it's going to help Republicans too. It helps everybody.
They just don't want to give a win to the Democrats.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I'm so sick of this. If the Democrats are for it, they've got to be against it. If they're for it, the Democrats have got to be against it. I mean, come on. Whatever happened to some people coming over to the good side? Like what they did with Garland today. I mean, they actually, that was cooperation, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
You know, and it was nice to see. Because what have you got bad to say about Merrick Garland? This is a good guy. Okay? He's a really good guy. Hi, Kevin. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, it's not really the same as the Democrats as the Republicans, because there were hundreds of Democrats that voted for the Republican stimulus a year ago. A lot of Democrats voted for that. Not one Republican voted for the stimulus this time.
And basically,
that's a big difference.
Except for the fact that this didn't go and help big corporations like the other one did. This bill was pretty much like the old one. So what did the Republicans see wrong with this one that they saw right with the other one, in spite of the fact the other one was a little lopsided towards big business?
Yeah.
You know?
And what about the idiot that spread it out page by page to slow it down to the reading of it in the Senate?
He didn't read it himself.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Probably can't
But
read.
if they want to do that, they should read it. They shouldn't have their clerks do it.
Right. Right.
Well,
You know what Marjorie and I did tonight that we haven't done what? What?
Go ahead.
We're losing Charlie.
Oh,
Charlie's in and out, I think.
Okay. Anyway, what we did tonight, for the first time in a year, okay, almost a year to the date, we actually went out and had dinner indoors at a restaurant.
Ooh.
And I think I'm coming down with COVID now. No, I think the having gotten the shot and everything kind of has made us a little more, ready to do something like that, And so,
are you having internet problems, Charlie, tonight and last night? You're kind of jerky, your movements and your voice and stuff.
I don't know what's going on. My box is flickering over here. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
It was last night too.
The shots of vaccine.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know they lowered the age of consent for the vaccine
to 60
in New York to 60? They lowered it to 60 now. Huh? How about that?
I thought they were running out of stuff.
No. I think
Alaska lowered it to 16.
But that was the age of consent.
That's what you just said, Alex.
What'd you say, Alan?
That's what you just said. Age of consent in New York, they lowered it to 60.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that they lowered it to 60, and I'm going, wait a minute, it was 65, wasn't it? What's such a big deal about 60?
Couple million people?
No, not that many. No.
Okay.
No. I mean, and I would imagine there were people 60 who were like sneaking in there using some kind of excuse, like I'm taking care of my mother or whatever, you know. I mean, and I mean, like for instance, we got Kevin here who got his shot because he's been taking care of his mother, so he's a caregiver, right? Right. Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't. What'd you have to do to prove that? Just say you were, and that's it.
Yep.
No, I took him my certification and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I had to go through some hoops, but I got it.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe all you had to do was just say it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, we're starting.
I had my second shot, 5:30.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Which did you get?
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you may not have the problems that Alex and I had.
I didn't have any problems. Did you have a problem, Charlie?
Oh, maybe it's Marjorie.
Marjorie had a problem, but you know what they say? They say that women
guy.
are having problems more than guys are. I just felt a little like both my shoulders ache. Not here, but here, and I felt somewhat. What do you call it? Tired. Okay. But then the next day I was fine. But Marjorie claimed she was going through a lot. She was feeling achy and all of that. But, that one only lasted a day, too. And it's a small price to pay for being, inoculated.
So somebody.
But no, what I wanted to say is going out to dinner tonight in a restaurant and not having that fear, okay, that would have accompanied it had I done it anyway without the shot, was a great feeling. It really was. Now, what were we going to say, Alan?
I heard some good news. Somebody on one of the medical blogs from JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, to get some good information off of. The guy's a PhD in virology, world renowned. He said that half the Republicans in this country said they're not going to get the shot. As far as I'm concerned, that's good news. It'll take longer for herd immunity, but if there's a lot less Republicans in the country, that's okay with me.
They always say that. They say that, and they still get it.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now in Texas, where Charlie lives, they have gone to no masks, 100% occupancy in restaurants. And I just noticed that Charlie wrote down here that you had 213 deaths today.
Yep.
We only had like 58 or something like that in New York, which is a state that's much larger in population than Texas. That's awfully low. It's I think that's going to be.
Texas had 1/7 of all the deaths.
1/7 of all the deaths in the country today?
Today,
yeah. Texas had 1/7 of all the deaths.
So, in other words.
Today,
huh?
They announced Texas Rangers baseball team on opening day. They're going to have 100% full stadium.
Yeah, I heard.
50,000 people in the ballpark, whatever it holds.
That's not good. That's not good. Look, yes, things are getting better, but they're not going to get better if we keep acting like this. They're only going to get worse. You're going to see a spike in Texas. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Just be glad you're inoculated now. Just be glad that you really probably can't catch it. All right, but they're going to be.
What have they said about the Dallas Stars? That's an indoor hockey. They're playing right now. They're going to let them in.
Yeah. Everything's open up.
Yeah. Everything.
There are no restrictions on anything. Movie theaters wide open.
So you can go to a hockey game.
Restaurants wide open.
Yeah. I heard CNN radio this morning on the way to work, though. They said that even though everything is open, they say they haven't seen any restaurants that are having people with no masks. They're still asking for people with masks. So even if there's this nation or the statewide thing, the restaurants are still trying to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
at least in the area they were talking about.
But
the grocery
but
store
Yeah,
still
that's what I
require
said.
but
masks.
they're not. They're letting 100% of their people in, even though they're saying you have to wear a mask, but you can't wear a mask when you're eating.
Right.
So, how many of them are saying, no, only 50% or only 25%? We don't care what the governor says. I mean, I realize these people are anxious to make a buck, but when they're anxious to make a buck to the detriment of the health of their patrons, I have to question that. I really do. It's a pretty terrible, terrible thing to do. So I mean, I think it's amazing how bad it is right now. And what's happening in Texas is, and I think Florida's doing it. I think did Massachusetts just open up to full?
Yeah, I think Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had like 5 or 6 places I heard today.
Yeah.
Mississippi.
And I worry for my friend up there, Steve Kravitz, because he hasn't been able to get a shot yet. He's just turned 65 and he's able to get a shot, but now he's got to go find one.
Yeah.
And look, Jeff's coming down with COVID. Just heard that. You know what you do? What we should do is just, we all have our shots. You and I and Pamela, Marjorie, we'll all go into a restaurant. We know we're fine, okay? Right? And then we'll start coughing like crazy.
I was in a I was in a restaurant last night eating in there, and my roommate coughed a couple times, and the people standing next to us, and I said to him, "You've had that cough ever since you came back from China," and they got away from us. That's my sarcastic charm, and they could not believe it.
Yeah. By the way,
Harley's got a big yawn right now. Look at that. I think he's got tonsillitis.
And he froze.
Frozen.
And he froze in mid
I
yawn.
know, with his mouth wide open.
That's a great picture.
I think he was laughing. I think he was laughing at you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've got to freeze frame that when I'm through with the show.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Are you there,
Charlie? But your
there you are, Charlie. Now you're not. Did you yawn? Was that a yawn, or were you?
No.
No, I was laughing.
Oh,
He was laughing at what I said.
I was laughing.
Oh boy.
Your
I'm gonna have to
picture
call
got stuck with your
Spectrum
mouth
and
open.
say and complain about this.
Yeah. Well, it's Spectrum. What can I say? Let me see here. Oh, now, anybody been following what's going on now in England with the Queen and everybody over the Harry, Meghan Markle?
Yeah, and the
Piers
Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
Yeah, Piers Morgan
Piers.
quit the show he was
Opposite
on,
prick.
which I wouldn't suggest he
cares?
do because he had no career anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he was still on, but he's on over there now.
Over there, he had the morning show. There's like this Good Morning America type show that he's on. And I guess somebody got in his face and he got up and said, I quit. And he got up and left. And he supposedly has quit the show.
Yep.
And everybody said, okay.
Yeah, here's the door. Can I open the door for you?
Yeah, the guy said, we have to sit here and listen to you every day talk about that stuff. So right when we say it, and this is when he was walking out, he said, geez, we have to listen to you every day and you can't listen to us, and he's walking away.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he was like, standing up for the Queen, and how can you do this? Because Prince Philip, who is, by the way, 99 years old,
Wow.
and he's been in the hospital for 4 weeks. How could they do that kind of interview with Prince Philip in the hospital? What? I mean, they were willing to talk about this, and they felt it was important to talk about. And then he said something. Piers Morgan said something to the effect of, "And how can you do this how can you say this about the Queen? I'm sure she isn't a racist." Well, they didn't say anything about her being a racist. In fact, they specifically said that Philip and the Queen weren't the ones that made these racist statements, and that in fact the Queen, according to Meghan, was absolutely wonderful to her, but it was somebody else in the royal family. So my question is, who do you think it is?
The dog.
I think it could be the Charles or William.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe both.
Well, we think Charles, but it could have been William. There's an outside chance it could be Edward, but I don't think he's even around there much anymore. Ever since the Jeffrey, what do you call it, scandal?
Yeah.
So it's kind of ridiculous. Okay.
But he's not their son, really, anyways, right? He's not Prince Charles's son.
Well,
here we go again with the Ronan Farrell talk.
Well, it's
the red hair and the complexion. Come on, really?
Well, didn't she have a bodyguard who had red hair and looks a lot like Harry?
Yes.
Yeah. There's
right, yeah.
It's a Ronan Farrow situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, plus, what in the world? They were not smart, because what in the world does Harry have to lose by giving an interview like that? He's never going to become king.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, he's so far removed from being king now; it's ridiculous.
Well, why would you want to be king anyway?
Yeah.
Well, because you get a lot of free stuff.
No.
You still get free stuff as him right now.
Yeah.
What would he get more of?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. You didn't watch that, did you, Kevin? The interview?
No, I didn't.
They reran it again tonight on ABC.
Oh, shit, I wanted to watch it, but oh well, I'll find it somewhere.
You know,
doing my hair.
Do you know how many viewers they got? 17 million.
Wow.
Yeah, they got more people watching them than watched the Golden Globes this year. So,
or the Trump speech.
Or the Trump speech. Or anything. I think the reason a lot of people watch this is it was the only thing they could watch that didn't affect them personally, and they could kind of get involved in. You know what I'm saying?
After watching The Crown, they probably said, "Let's see the real thing."
Yeah, let's see the real thing. Exactly. Well, I mean, it's kind of it kind of was, I think, a relief for the American public to be able to worry about somebody else's political problems for a change rather than our own.
Yeah. The English right wingers over there, man, they're crazy.
They're hardcore.
Yeah, they're very hardcore over there.
And they're very pro Queen, I believe.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, for years I've been saying the first time I went to England, I said I can't see any reason why they have a queen here and a king, why they have the monarchy. But it gives them something, I don't know, to focus on during wartime, or to say we're fighting for the honor of the king and queen. But I mean, these are just people who are completely spoiled. They're racist. They're colonizers. What?
They do it in other countries. They do it for the emperor. They fight for the emperor in Japan.
Yeah.
Other countries do it other ways.
But I mean, the amount of money it costs the British people to maintain the monarchy is ridiculous. It's astronomical.
Yep.
And these people have all the money in the world. I mean, one of the reasons they're the kings and queens of that country is because of all the property they own.
Sure.
So I mean, you could just say, to hell with it. We don't need this anymore. Take care of yourself. If you want to say you're the king and queen, fine. You come down that line, but we're not going to honor it. But no, they go along with it. They're all for it. I think. Is there any other country that still has a king and queen?
Yeah,
Monaco.
those African countries, like what are they, Congo, or those ones on the west side of Africa. Those are some of the most corrupt monarchs in the world. I mean, you got the whole country starving, and the fucking kings are driving around and, you know.
Well, I think no, I think what you're talking about, it's not really Africa as much as the Arabian countries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. I mean, those people are just terrible. They're just horrible. They'd let their people starve before they'd starve. You know, it's ridiculous.
Kind of like our last president.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, he was kind of in bed with them, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So my eyes are burning today, and you're going to say why? But they have been doing something in this building that I don't know if they do that in other cities, but it's a thing called pointing, in which they put up scaffolds on a building and they go up and down, and they drill out all the loose stuff between bricks, right? And then I guess
Mortar?
Mortar. Yeah, because it comes loose after a while, after maybe 20 years, and they get rid of all the loose mortar, and I guess they put new mortar in, and it's called pointing. They have been drilling and drilling and drilling, and it's driving me crazy because I sleep till 10 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't been able to sleep sleep until 10 o'clock because this thing, they keep drilling and they keep hammering. It's terrible. And then what it does is it creates a dust. In fact, I can tell it creates a dust because I have a air purifier, right? And it's got a little round ring on it, and it changes color when the air quality gets bad. And sometimes when I'm cooking in the kitchen and the place gets too smoky, it'll like get red and whatever. It got red the last couple of days just from the goddamn dust.
Wow.
That's coming up, and my eyes are burning, and it really sucks. And I
Time
can't
for you to seal the cracks around your window so the dust doesn't come in.
Well, I mean, Marjorie likes to keep the window open.
Open.
Oh. Oops.
That's one thing. There was also another thing where we just got some like cardboard or something covering up where an air conditioner was. I got to put some plastic in there. And they were cleaning out and dusting, right, with an air thing, and it blew all the dust into the apartment. You know, so I mean, my eyes have been burning, and it's terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the excitement, folks. What are the numbers like? Oh well. What else can I do to chase the audience away? So, what are you all going to do with your free time now that you've got? What if you've had 2 shots already, right, Alan?
Yes.
Okay. So, what have you been doing that's different?
Well, I'm going to go back to San Francisco and hang out with friends and smoke cigars.
Okay. Are these other people who've had the shots?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you should only hang out with people who've had the shots.
Well, that's what they say. That's mainly for their protection, not yours. But
yeah,
they don't know about that either with the variants and stuff. We don't need to get.
Well, the variants aren't supposedly a problem. Supposedly, if you've got these shots, you're pretty well protected against them.
They're not quite sure. So the main variant that they're worried about right now is the South African variant.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to find out if it works is keep giving people injections. And if the people that are fully vaccinated don't get sick, then the vaccines are working.
Well, they say that the British variant isn't a problem, that you won't get that. You're protected against it.
Well, they think that that's the primary variant that's going on in this country, especially the past 6 weeks in New York, and why their numbers are going up.
Well, the numbers they've gone down, but they're not going down sufficiently.
And nowhere in the country is going down sufficiently.
Well, there are parts of the country where it's really dropping pretty low. But those are the people who are also getting a little too emboldened and are playing with fire.
France is having a big outbreak again. It's ramping up. Paris is really bad.
Yep.
Why do they say that's happening there? I thought they closed everything down.
Yeah, but it's coming back. I don't know why. I just heard about it on the radio today.
Bastille Day celebrations.
Really? No.
We're gonna, I would bet in the next month or two we're gonna see the 4th round of this, because we've only got 10% of the people vaccinated, and 4 or 5% of the country has a natural immunity to it by actually having COVID and recovered. And people are acting stupid, like not wearing masks, not social distancing, like it's all over. And this is going to come back big time in the next month.
New York is, I think, 20% vaccinated.
Really?
20% have had the first shot. I think only 9% have had the second shot, or 9.9% have had the second shot. Yeah. So I mean, at least that's something. You know,
absolutely.
I mean, and what I think has amazed me is that our president, when he was running, said, in my first 100 days, I'm going to give him 100 million shots. And I thought that was overstating it a bit. Like, how are you going to be able to live up to this? We're going to make 100 million by 50 days.
Yeah. We're doing 2 million a day now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be cool, in that
I hope so.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Trump said today on one of his little presidential notes?
Where is he publishing these things now? Because he hasn't got an outlet anymore.
Signals.
Smoke signals. What?
Don't forget, if it wasn't for me, there wouldn't be any vaccine. It'd be 5 years before there'd be a vaccine out there.
He should be big enough of a businessman to know that in spite of anything that he did, there was going to be a vaccine as soon as possible, because money talks and nobody walks, okay? And these guys were all, and look, Brian's in that business, that they were all just working their asses off to be the first ones on the block because there was a profit to be made from this. So for him to say that he had anything to do with it, they were working on this the day that they knew there was a problem.
He's an extremely sick person.
He's a very sick person. And the fact that anybody still defends him, I mean, some of these Republicans who are still getting up and going, what a great guy he is, and how he's, I mean, come on. Lindsey Graham, for crying out loud.
Remember when we were all saying, as soon as Trump's gone, they would all be saying, who, Trump who? But we were wrong.
Well, he's not getting he's not getting the juice that he was getting, Yeah. I mean, as each day passes by, people are paying less attention to him.
That's true, yeah.
And he has no outlets. He's appealing to Twitter and Facebook to let him back on. And
Twitter didn't. Huh? Twitter didn't let him on. He's not on Twitter.
Twitter hasn't let him back on.
No. Is he on?
What about malaria? Is malaria still with him?
Yeah, they're still together, I guess.
Have they been seen together? Have they been seen together in public though? Have you guys seen her?
Well, I
haven't.
I don't know.
I love it. Malaria.
That's from Alex.
Yeah. No, actually,
I haven't heard that. That's funny.
No, I got that from what's his name? Jimmy Kimmel calls her malaria.
That's great.
Yeah.
Malaria.
Yeah. She was the first one to call
remember
her
we
malaria.
made those predictions on how long they'll last. I said when you see them leave, that'll be the last time you see them together. So,
right.
Well, we don't know. I mean, well, of course, she wasn't seen at the CPAC.
Nope.
Thing. Who knows? I'm sure. Look, I'm sure she's fed up because her name is Mud.
Yeah.
I mean, these people can't even come back to New York. All right? You would have thought the first place he would have headed out once he left Washington was not Mar-a-Lago, but to Trump Tower, because they have an apartment there. That's their living space. What?
Last week he did go to Trump Tower, and there was like one person waiting there.
Really? He did go there?
Yeah. Well, I saw it on the Daily Beast. They had a film of it. There's like one person standing on the street, and they showed him waving at him.
Well, I think they've taken
with
away
a flag.
I think they've taken away all the protection they had there, because we were paying, what was it, $200,000 a week to protect that place, something like that. Some amazing amount of money, and it was coming out of the pockets of New Yorkers.
He still has Secret Service protection for the rest of his life. So.
If he wants it. If he doesn't want it, he doesn't have to take it.
Yeah, he's stupid enough to probably say no.
No, if I were him, I would take it. I would take it.
I would too.
They have a great meme right now. It's a empty golf course. They show empty golf course, and it says Joe Biden just saved U.S. citizens $600,000 from not golfing today.
Is that how much
this weekend?
Truthfully, though, is that how much it cost us every day that he went there to golf?
I know they say weekend.
No,
it was 900,000 because he had a plane trip too.
$900,000 to go play golf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
A lot of Secret Service.
Yep.
Between
he spent like $150 million.
Then he cheated
Golfing.
in golf, so it's not even.
Yeah.
Those videos of him hitting the ball, and then he goes to pick it up, and he sort of hits it in the right way in the hole and gets it out of the hole. Oh my God!
The last guy to cheat that badly was Auric Goldfinger. If you remember the movie.
Yeah.
Went down for a 1-under eagle.
But James Bond caught him because he was playing a Schlesinger.
Yeah.
A Schlesinger too.
Yeah. Boy, you remember that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I used to be a golfer.
Because I thought
my favorite golfing movie is Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a classic.
I love where Rodney Dangerfield hits the ball and it goes the wrong direction, and he's yelling 4-4, and it hits Ted Knight in the groin. He says, "Maybe I should have yelled 2."
Oh boy. So is Rocky there tonight? I guess Rocky is there, right, Trucker Steve?
He's right here.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Rocky.
Yeah. Does he like traveling with you? I mean, or is he resentful?
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah. So he really likes it. Okay. He just gets to sleep a lot.
My dog used to ride with me all the time.
Really?
In the truck.
Did he enjoy it?
She loved it, yeah.
She probably loved being with you. You know.
She just didn't like getting slammed up against the dash when I hit the brakes.
They do that little doggy tap dance, don't they?
She'd be up there on the seat, and all of a sudden I had to hit the brakes, and she'd go bam up against the dashboard. She'd get right back up on the seat.
You should have yelled, "Prepare
But you know,
for
it's funny.
impact,"
She'd be
or
laying on the seat for hours on the passenger side.
I'm
never
always
move.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we'd get back close to home, and boom, she'd pop up.
I'm always amazed when I see Trucker Steve's place in his truck where he sleeps and everything, because it looks to me like a cubicle at an office, doesn't it? When you're sitting here looking at it here.
It's like a bunk.
Yeah. But
You got a TV in there too? Well, of course, right?
Yeah. Oh,
32-inch.
Cool.
Portable toilet.
No,
No.
So would you just take showers at those truck stop shower places?
no, the bunk isn't that big.
Wow.
right.
Just take showers at those.
Are there
shower
people though
places?
that have trucks that are big enough that they do have toilets and they do have a lot of amenities?
Yeah, there's a company called ARI that designs trucks with the oven range,
Yeah.
with toilet and a shower.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, that's
The more crap
Like-
you got,
like-
the less you can haul, though.
It's like a camper, like an RV,
okay. But
like the big supersized bunks.
But it's all contained within the cab of the truck, which you could make, I guess, as big as you want to or as little as you want to, and then that
Yeah,
pole.
you can get them up to 180-inch bunk
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen. I follow their Facebook page, so I've seen some of the work that they do. It's pretty nice.
Pretty expensive, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the trucks are probably well over 200,000, almost 300.
Now we're just talking about the cab, right? Because obviously that's all that you want to have, because the rest of it hauls the load, right? The load is then attached to your truck and you go with it, right?
I think truckers call that the tractor, the front cab.
The front cab is the tractor, and what's the back part called?
Trailer.
The trailer.
But the more tractor you got, the less you can haul. The more weight you put up front, the less you can put in the back.
So you really want kind of a snub nose kind of.
That's why you usually see, day tractors that got nothing on them. They can put more in the back.
I see. Okay. Why? I would think that if you had a bigger tractor in the front, you could pull a bigger load in the back, but that isn't true.
No, because there's weight restrictions on the road.
Yeah. And I start
depending on where you are.
And
in California, you can't haul shit.
I start to laugh every time I say load. So excuse me.
Yeah.
You would. They showed on the TV show Buc-ee's. Is that in Texas, right? Buc-ee's. They had like one of the largest truck stops. They were showing.
Yeah. Well,
over Texas.
Well, the other night, Trucker Steve was talking about the largest truck stop in the United States is where again?
Walcott, Iowa, on Iowa 80.
Now, why Walcott, Iowa? I mean, is that like a crossroads of everything?
It's just a small town, but there's a couple of truck stops. There's 2 pilots and a big giant TA there.
Oh, okay. And that's basically the biggest truck stop in the country.
They claim it's the biggest one in the world.
Wow.
What's that one in Wyoming? You ever been to that one?
It's called the Best Western.
Well, which one? There's quite a few. There's Little America.
That was humor.
Yeah, that's it. Little America. Yeah, I stopped there one time.
Oh, okay.
On my motorcycle. I took a shower there on my motorcycle.
Yeah. I was always told that if you wanted to get the best food anywhere, always stop at a truck stop. And I learned my lesson. I will never eat another truck stop again.
That's why when you go to the cashier at the truck stop, you have all the antacids, Pepto-Bismol.
Well, no, but they said that the truck drivers would know where all the good food was. And I went to one of these truck stops, and it was nothing but grease on a plate. I mean, it was just tons of this stuff that was just... no wonder, people who drive trucks have a tendency to gain weight. Not only are they not moving around and getting exercise, but they're eating that goddamn food on the road. Tell me I'm wrong, Kevin.
I ain't gonna tell you you're right.
But it wasn't the best food I ever had, so.
Good old comfort food.
It's comfort food. It's supposed to fill you up,
It does.
Yeah, God did it ever. And it also did something to my stomach.
You don't have to eat for miles.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Better know where the bathroom is and the next bathroom is.
Well, it's another 2 hour and a half of my life completely used up.
There you go.
I can see my life ticking away as we do this program. But thank you. Thank you, Alan, for joining us this evening. I hope something exciting happens in the news tomorrow. I hope there's some major tragedy we can talk about. Trucker Steve.
The president's supposed to speak.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you to Brian Neary. Always good having you here. You always fill up a panel very nicely. Same thing to you, Charlie Wallace and Jeff Stein and John Larkin, and of course the inimitable Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. There's our citizen panel. That's what they look like, and you can be part of it tomorrow night just by going over to gabnet.net, and over on the right-hand side of this page, it says, Zoom us! Well, Zoom us, okay? That's it for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Right back here, Jack Bishop is next with The Intersection. He'll be taking your calls on Skype at Gabnet Live. In the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, be safe out there and wear a mask. And get vaccinated, too, while you're at it.